Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars and welcome to another video. Welcome my Cayman S back to the channel. Now a lot of you have been asking, where is the Cayman? There's been so much other content on this channel. I've not really covered off much on this car and that's why most of you are here. So I thought I would bring the car out in the sunshine and share with you where the Cayman's been and crucially, how much it's cost me. So, like I said, I've been having a number of issues with my Cayman. The main one being the engine management light. That came on and stayed on. I couldn't find out what was wrong with it and I actually ran a few codes on the car to see what they were. None of them were that clear. It did point to the catalytic converter, but wasn't sure whether it was a lambda sensor or the catalytic converter itself. So it was gonna have to go into the garage. That is exactly where the Cayman's been. It was in for a couple of days, and while it was in, it needed a minor service. Now this is where it gets interesting. So I think if you can cast your mind back to one of my community posts, regular viewers will remember this, I put up a picture of a Porsche quote on a minor service. And yeah, I was shocked by the price of this. It was unbelievable. The cost of a service at a Porsche centre here in the UK for a minor service on this car was over £1,500. That frightened me. I thought, this is what this car is going to cost me every single year. I don't know how much longer I can keep this for. But thankfully, I do have a specialist not too far from me. Specialises in German cars and he's extremely good and very competitive on price. So that's where I took it. And I thought in today's video it'd be really interesting to talk you through how much it cost me for a minor service and to get to the bottom of this engine management light compared with a Porsche centre. Because a lot of you watching this will be thinking, I'd love to buy a Porsche, but I'm not quite sure if I can afford to take it to the main dealers. I think this pretty much proves you don't need to, and you can save a small fortune doing that. So what I'll do now is I'll put a picture on the screen of the bill from the Porsche centre. You can see there's not that much to this bill. The only thing that really stood out to me was the fact this was a minor service and they were changing the spark plugs as well. This car recently underwent a full engine rebuild and obviously had new spark plugs. It definitely doesn't need those. Maybe it's not a bad thing to change, who knows. But either way, on a minor service, I was quite surprised to see them on there. Nevertheless, the bill for that was over £1,500. All of that is listed as oil, parts and that type of thing. But it doesn't mention the labour. I dread to think how much hourly labour that Porsche Centre in the UK charges because it's crazy money. To spend £1,500 on a minor service on a car that only costs 14 grand, that's more than 10% of the value of the car in a minor service. I dread to think what a major service would be, but it's got to be way north of £2,000. So I did what most people do that have these cars, and I took it to my independent specialist. I've got the bill here, and I think a lot of you will be very, very surprised. But before we get into the bill, I just want to touch on something that I want to share with you all, and that is a little button that YouTube have added to every single channel on YouTube. And it's something that I want to draw your attention to and ask you if you wouldn't mind supporting me. There is a button called Super Thanks. Super Thanks is a button that you'll find underneath all my videos. Hit that and it gives you the option to donate money towards the channel. This car is becoming increasingly expensive to run and I really want to complete some mods on it. But with bills like this and just general running costs, it keeps getting put back. I still haven't had the rear bumper repaired, the wheels are in need of a refurb and I'm desperate to get an exhaust fitted at some point. So by hitting the Super Thanks button and donating money directly to my channel, it will help and support me along the way. Now, a lot of you will be thinking, well, I don't want to give money through the YouTube app, which is totally fine. I've also put another link, which I'll put in the pinned comment, for a website called Buy Me a Coffee. It doesn't require you to set up anything. It's literally just a donation site. And again, all that money will go to the Cayman, helping me build this channel, bring you more content on the Cayman, and crucially pay off some of these stupid little bills that I keep getting so that I can fit an exhaust to this car this year, because that is the ultimate aim. But unfortunately, I'm not a wealthy man, and these bills are killing me. So any support that you guys can give would mean so much. There's so many of you that have supported this channel from day one, and I really do thank every single one of you from that. But if you wanted to support any further, then this is your chance. Of course, a lot of people with the cost of living crisis, especially here in the UK, money is a little bit tight. If you can't support using one of those ways, then please consider just hitting that subscribe button and commenting and liking my videos, because that makes a huge difference also. But anyway, let's get straight into this bill. So I will put a little picture of it on the screen as well so you can look at it together, because the price is totally different. And apart from it being all the same thing, so minus the spark plugs, this bill only comes to £334. £334 for a minor service. Yes, I only really had oil and filters changed. Because it has a K&N filter, it doesn't need that changing. An oil and filter change surely is all you need on a minor service. Had screen wash added. He did actually change one of the little side light bulbs which had gone and was driving me insane. And yeah, then he did an inspection on the car to try and find out what exactly was wrong. Now, it's not great news, I'm not going to lie. He found a couple of things. First of all, it was a lambda sensor. So the lambda sensor did actually add extra money to that bill, and as you can see, it added £70 on in parts alone. But that just shows how good value this service was. It was literally a fifth of the price of the Porsche garage. I had extra things completed and still saved a ton of money. So it does show that you can run one of these cars and save a little bit of money by going to your trusted independent specialist. And in this case, I used Arch Garage in Filey. Fantastic garage, and all the links to him will be in the description. But unfortunately, he did find some problems. So those problems are quite big. It's something I expected to happen to the car during its ownership. It's something that crops up on Caymans when they hit a certain age, and in this case, the car's 16. It was only a matter of time. So what else did the garage find? Well, of course, when they plugged it into their diagnostic machine, it showed that the lambda sensor had indeed failed. It needed replacing, and like I said, the cost of that was around 70 quid for the part. Obviously it didn't take that long to fit because I haven't been hammered for the labour. The other thing that they did notice was it was leaking a little bit of coolant. Not really ideal, and where it's leaking from is the coolant crossover pipes. Now, this is an area on Caymans that tends to fail when they hit a certain age. This age, around 10 to 15 years old, they can rot and start to leak. Now, I'm not expecting it to have a catastrophic failure and start pouring coolant out all across the road, but it is leaking, it is losing coolant, and that is probably the cause of the temperature fluctuating and causing problems like that. Now, we obviously are going to replace the thermostat because there is a chance that the thermostat was sticking, which could be causing the fluctuations as well. What I am going to do is get it booked in as soon as possible to have this work done, but it's extremely expensive. Anyone who's had this done before will know how much it costs to have coolant crossover pipes done. It's quite an expensive job, and it's something that, yeah, I kind of knew would happen eventually, and it's just a bit of a shame, really. Now, these are the sort of jobs that they're not fun to do, they're not fun to pay for. You kind of want to use this money for more fun things. More fun things like exhaust, wrapping it, putting a bigger wing on it, doing those sort of really exciting jobs. But I can't do any of that until I get the car mechanically sound, and this seems to be just a never-ending task. I'm not going to lie, it's driving me up the wall. But I'm not deterred by it. I'm committed to the car, I'm committed to my YouTube channel, and I want to just keep repairing it and then adding more bits to it and showing you the true cost of what it is like to own one of these cars. The thing is with this car is they're quite good value for money. The prices have actually come down here in the UK quite a bit, and they are very reasonably priced. So a lot of people are looking at them thinking, I could definitely go and buy one of them. And you probably could, but it's running it. And it is just a big roll of the dice, and I've probably been quite unlucky. A full engine rebuild, and now the coolant crossover pipes, which arguably I should have done at the same time, and everyone's going to be slating me in the comments for that. But the finance is only stretched so far, and the engine rebuild was £10,000, and I wasn't prepared to add another 1,000 onto it, or 2,000, or whatever, for all these extra bits. It was a case of get the engine done, and jobs are good, and really. So that wasn't really an option. I did do the bare minimum because of financial struggles. So the plans for the Cayman then. So it's going back into the garage probably in the next week. Probably by the time this video goes out, it's going to be in the garage having those coolant crossover pipes done, along with a new thermostat. And then after that, I'm hoping I can then save up for the brakes and pads that it needs, because it needs them all the way around as well. Probably after that, it's going to need a set of tyres. And then after that, providing it is working and nothing else has gone or worn out on it, I'll be starting to look for bodywork to be repaired, because it went through the gates at the bottom of the drive and still haven't had that repaired. And also the wheels refurbed, because they just look a mess. You probably can't tell from the video, but they're pretty bad. So yeah, hoping to get those done. And then last but not least, and hopefully towards the back end of this year, I'm going to be getting an exhaust on it. A valve system, thinking the Top Gear one at the moment, because so many of you have recommended it. And yeah, we're going to release some noise from the back of this car and have a bit of fun with it, because so much of my car's builds have just been general maintenance, repairs, all the boring stuff, and I can't wait to start to modify it. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed this update on the Cayman. I hope you're all pleased to see it back on the channel. Maybe not for the best reasons, but as always, I like to give you an update on the car, what's going on with it, and how much it's cost me. But as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, for plenty more videos like this one to come. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.